with the information that you give that energy to other people to start researching by themselves. Yeah.
Well, you got to learn on your own.
Yeah, because people are lazy. Plus, everyone look how to say their own ass or their own profit. Plus, it's really hard when you realize that you've been lied since you get born. It's a so hard situation. I even do not know. We also spoke last night why they lie you even when you are kid family regarding Santa Claus or many different things. People like to speak with their children or babies as idiots, and totally how to say nonsense. I really do not see the point. I said if you cannot say or something to your child, then better to do not somehow find a way to do not give any answer than to give a wrong answer. That's somehow my opinion.
Yeah, leave it open for them. Don't make something up to close that.
Yeah, exactly.
That line of thought. They just shut that line of thought down by giving you some bullshit. So you'll never strive to see the truth because they count on us being lazy and stupid.
True.
You take it. So you need people when you need, but you need the sheep in your herd. I don't know. They feed off of us. They need us at the same time. Well, not me. I say us, but I don't mean.
Yes.
Right.
Very good comparison. Plus, why they?
The cattle.
Yeah, but why also they force all those migrations, people around the world from let's say smaller cities or villages into the bigger? From one simple reason.
To destabilize them and to control them.
With someone who never saw, let's say, any animal besides in zoo or didn't live in the nature or things like that.
Right.
Plus, what you can do in a city, you can only sit and watch TV or do something with your computer.
They call it destabilization. It causes chaos, so then they need control, and then they can profit from both sides of it. It's like starting a war. A civil war. Aren't they all? Oh, shit. Yeah, exactly. It's confusing. You introduce the confusion, and then you can manipulate both sides of it. It's crazy, but that's what they're doing.
Sure.
Yeah, instead of living in harmony and actually learning stuff, they want to exploit everything and control it.
Exactly. You also said nicely that the other hang, I watched a lot of your hangs, not all in the fullness, but the last few I really watched almost full. I can tell you an example of my country because you guys probably remember of 1999 when they bombarded us. And one of the reasons why they didn't had guts to get with normal forces, because they knew that, we'll probably beat all the fucking enemies. We showed that also in World War II, World War I, in many different wars, So they knew that they cannot beat us. That's why they just bombarded us. I remember for exactly how long. I think 78 days or something like that. And it's ridiculous and against any law, anything, how to say, papers, what is signed by many different countries or by United Nations or things like that. So they showed that they can really do whatever they like, Plus, when you look, I really do not have nothing against those persons in different countries. But still, we are in a fucking middle of the Europe. We are not in some Asian country or in Africa. We are here, just a few hundred kilometers, let's say, from the rest of the Europe. So I think that's a huge difference. But at some point, they also doing things, how to say, related to playing a good policeman and a bad. So that's why always they force Russia to be their enemy, even they for the real they are not enemies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Plus, then any of those groups who lead, how to say, the world, they have their own agendas and their interests, and that's how everything works. Because even we can think that they are so, how to say, that they agree regarding everything. That's not the case at all. That's not the case, and that's how to say our best card to play with, you know. Because if we get some of people who are deep in their how to say organizations and so on, it's a lot when you get some informations or when you somehow be in position to do something. I mean on more how to say with
Manipulation.
within yes, well, I
Manipulation.
mean not through the manipulation, because governments are normally not able nor willing to go after those guys, you know. On
Yeah. But you need people to mine the gold to harvest the wheat, and you need people to sell it to, and it's complicated. Yeah, we're all they treat us like slaves, but they need us on the other hand to feed off of.
yeah,
It's,
because when we look one of the last cases
they
you
don't
also
value
mentioned.
they don't value life. Sorry, go ahead, Bob.
No, I just wish to say that about those different agendas with them. One example is that German pharmaceutical or drug company bought Monsanto. And why is that important? Because we know what they're doing. They selling drugs to the people for different diseases and so on and so on.
Yeah,
And
that
it's
they cause themselves. Yeah, right.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
causing
But
it.
I wish to say, for example, for that company who makes billions from the people, if they, let's say, kill 80-90% of the population, they will get broke. So that company, I do not think that will allow, for example, that or agree that most of people get killed. There's some of those Georgia Stone's saying, you know, that they plan. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, to not sound as how to say Russian wits, because when he start to speak, it's so hardly to stop him. Really stop me, say freely what you want.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Uh, yeah. There was a couple of things I wanted to say while you were having the conversation earlier about getting your money back. The thing is, if you don't pay it in the first place, you don't need to get it back. The income tax, I don't know about the other ones, but the income tax was based, well, started in this country anyway, I don't know about any other country, to help fund the war. And that's why they always have war on terror. It's always there in the back of our mind so that we carry on paying this income tax. But what we don't realise, or what most people don't realise, is it's a consensual thing. So if you consent to it unknowingly, then they'll keep taking your money. So if you say, I don't know how you do it, but I suppose there's a way, you take back your consent, and then
Yeah.
you don't pay income tax. I don't pay income tax, but I dare say for every other tax there's a way out.
Not only tax, you gave a very good example. Not only a taxes, even laws which we do not agree with. You know, why would any person say, "Hey, I disagree with this, and that"? It's I sign document with your government. You know, for this and that, I respect you. This that you do not have my how to say. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right. If we all turn our backs to it, the pyramid would fall. The pyramid that's on the dollar, yeah, just walk out from under it, turn your back on it, don't pay it anymore. Then what? and it would have to crumble.
True, and money became only a thing of control. Money is not important to them because we also know that they can print as much money as they like. That's
Yeah,
why.
and they'd probably freak out and start another war, and then we'd be right back where we started.
Yes. Yeah, true. Plus, I do not know. Do you guys know how they made TV? TV didn't made, let's say, as a fun. First, they made it as yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
propaganda.
yeah. Not only a globe, probably so many things we how to say we are not even how to say sure what all they taught us wrongly, you know. But for the globe, I remember watching so many different shows or news all around the world, and you cannot see nor one news that you do not see a globe, for example. So how deep that indoctrination? Yeah. Hmm. Go on.
Thank
Patricia.
you, mommy. Let me talk. No, no, just another little thing. It's like if you think about the Twin Towers and the 9/11. To me, Russian Vids was saying about we don't always see the picture, and I'm not on about the everything that's gone on with it. But if you think about it, they destroyed the towers from within, and that's what they're trying to do to us with the food. They're just trying to destroy us to a point where even they don't even have to do anything. We do it ourselves. We destroy ourselves by not being. I don't know exactly where I'm going with this, but it's just we need to take back the control. We never give him it in the first place, to be honest, but you know, we just need to take it back
Yeah,
and
they
come together.
overtook it by how to say. Just a second to say this. They overtook it by how to say. They got united in many different how to say organizations, and we are all still not united at all. We are just persons one by one. You know, that's why they've been able to win. Let's say this game for the last maybe a few hundred years, if not even more, maybe even longer. True. Plus, you do not realize, or it's so hard to realize that we are in some kind of hidden war, that we are really in a war with them. For them, it's easy to fight because they know who their enemy are or we. But for us, who is your enemy? You really do not know. Yes, and I think that this this war or situation is really long. Maybe even thousands or who knows, maybe even millions of years. Because when we look on the religions, what religions do? Yeah, I agree. But still, some people must survive. Some people must survive to continue all the story if they do not have so advanced technology, let's say, to produce new clones, you know. But obviously, we are not clones because as I hear and read more about those clones can live for certain period of times, but they have a lot of problems. Plus, they are not able to multiplicate, and so many different kind of problems. Plus, did you saw some of those videos where clones being used? That clone at some point just stops and do not move, do not do anything, even maybe do not breathing. Take a breath. You know. Did you saw some of those videos? You have a lot of those on YouTube when some let's say popular sportsmen or I don't know some other persons just stand and sit and do not move at all. No one real person will act like that, you know. Plus they also saying that most popular stars and politicians and so on, they all have clones. Yeah, that's true. But why I ask you that question, even when Russian Wits and Alex been here? Because I do not think that we are only in a war with, let's say, them, humans like us. could be easily that some other creatures are more higher in that hierarchy, you know, at that pyramid.
I'll keep my eye out for him. If I see one, you'll be the first one to see the body.
Because I know Wolf, we spoke a lot, even only us two, so we really know how each other think.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man.
That's why I think it's more important. Speaking about certain things is okay, and speaking for even 5 or 10 times regarding one or the same thing is okay. But speaking all over the similar things or the same things, from my point of view, it's totally ridiculous. It's a waste of time, you know. And as you mentioned, for some of from Flat Earth movement, what they do first, they are full of ego. Another, they always speak only the same thing all over again. Yeah, we also need a lot of insiders to give us some truthful informations from other side, what the other side think, how they act, and so on and so on. Because
Well, you
if
can
you
read
watch,
their books, read eugenics, read
yeah, and not
read
only that,
Crowley.
if you read their manuals, let's say for the army, for the high officers in the army or things like that, you will see that nowhere they mentioning any curvature, and even at that is Britannica, how call it, another Americana book, they also mentioning that how to say I remember. Dome, yes. They openly speak about Dome.
Right.
Yeah, and there is a more and more evidence. I really like to follow and watch Martin, because
This was
it,
it.
yeah, it's a lot of interesting thing you can find in all those old books, because I do not think that they made it just how to say, for the purpose that. Did somebody said something?
No, that's my woman, Tammy. Say hi, Tammy.
Bye.
Because I think we can find so many facts and interesting things regarding our past and how things works. So I really think that he and some other guys doing a great job. Even he got in contact with another guy from Russia who I also follow. Even before they two will meet and start or how to say, going into the same show. I firstly found also those things. Then I searched for the channels who speak about certain things, and then I found those guys. And I think that's a good path to give us some more answers, because only speaking about this and that and this and that, as I already said, going nowhere, you know. Plus, we all will at some point lose energy if we do not move forward, you know. But you know what's interesting regarding politicians? All of them, or if not totally all, most are pre-made, you know. Or how anybody will know who will be the president in the States, let's say 30, 40, 50 years from now, because that person maybe is still not even born. So they really plan in a so long period of times, is 50 or 100 years or even more in some cases. But we normal people, that's also a problem within my country. We hardly making any plans for even 5 years. So that's a huge difference, and they only changing them as they like. And yeah, and no any difference, because in my country we really changed a lot of those politicians, and globally things didn't change much at all. any of them only use their positions to steal for themselves or their families and so on. And that's everything what is, let's say, new. Nothing else. Plus now it's a very interesting situation regarding European Union. Plus you guys decided to get out. But you see, still a lot of problems. Will you finally get out or no? It's yeah. So you see, when you speak about politics, there is so many, how to say, unknown things or facts. Plus Europe also the similar, not fully, because America print a lot more, but even European Union print so many notes, billions and billions each year to cover all those holes. So what they doing, in other words, they paying everyone. Listen, this, Karen. They paying everyone from top politicians who rule the, let's say, a country to the normal people who work, let's say, everyday job. You know, they paying everyone in that system. That's why it's so hard to get even a normal person out of system, because people will say, hey, if I accept that, how will I be able to do my job? You know, especially in some, let's say, cases related to the police officers or those lawyers or, I don't know, even doctors and things like that. So you must be totally in a system. Or when they, do you know how they, when they decide to give new medicines, new drugs, they paying doctors, you know, that's, how to say, known fact everywhere. But nobody wish to speak about it because everybody profit from that dirty business. Or what did they also do now, openly trading with, even with organs, you know, and things like that. It's really crazy. Yes. Plus with all those, yeah. Plus, you know what they doing with all those mixes? I think that even in the past, could be they had that technology to cross different animals, even humans, because when you read mythology and some other, how to say, texts or even old maps, you will see human, how to say, crossed with some animal. There is a lot of examples, but everybody knows for let's say, those mixes between a human and a horse, a human and I don't know which other animal, that have been very popular in the past. And one of the reasons maybe they why they doing those resets, because when they really screw something, they see that something is not good, not going there, let's say, in the right direction, they kill everybody. I really don't know where they hide, or they use all those tunnels below the earth also in the past, or they have maybe, let's say, if earth is really much longer than Antarctica, maybe they have a land there and they just move there, throw at us those comets, but those comets are not comets, those are missiles, and kill everybody. And they then start all over again. So I do not believe, how to say, in that biblical story regarding Adam and Eve, because that it's only a story for the kids. What you said, I didn't understand. To be honest with you, you have a lot of historical facts, but facts are not fully true, because they do not speak about the same thing, or it's not, or it's misplaced, or it's missed in a time, you know. But there is a lot of historical facts in Bible. Some people been comparing that size of Jerusalem with Moscow at those years. If I remember, I think even Martin also did that, or someone else, and then found that everything is the same. How can be the Jerusalem Moscow. No how. Or why they kicked from history books Great Tartaria or Khazaria, you know? Huge reasons why. So everything where we can find some evidences for anything, they hiding. Yeah, and I think they needed all those wars, not only global wars as World War One and World War Two. We had a lot of wars in Europe in the past. For example, Napoleon Wars and some other wars or crusades. You know, lot of people got killed, and I asked myself, hey, how we lost all those, let's say, knowledge? Because let's say your grandparents or grandparents will tell you how it been at how to say it past, right? But we somehow lost that story. Why? Because so many people got killed, and the people fought for how to say, for living, to make enough money or food to have enough to grow their kids and so on and so forth. So people didn't have time and didn't saw it as important. But when I see what they did to my ex-country, ex-Yugoslavia, and because I know a lot of facts how it been, let's say, 30 years ago, now they speak totally opposite. And for example, because we all speak the same language, and just I don't know how many years ago we've been in the same country with Montenegro, because Montenegro and Serbia split the last. Montenegro idiot even how to say made 3 new letters, you know, for God's sakes. For example, if in a future Ireland or that Wales move out from the United Kingdom, and some guy decide, hey, I wish to add some letters or remove some. Isn't that stupid? But even that they are capable to do. Yes, and that's how they did it. Also, good, very good example. Nobody spoke about it. I am the only person who speak about it. What they did to Romania, they changed totally their language. They spoke almost the same also languages as we do. But what they did, they transformed some kind of Latin or Italian and screw it totally. And that's the language what Romanians speak today. You know, only how much is it? Around 250 years ago, they spoke the same language as I speak today. Yeah, everything is artificial, or most of things. For some things, they changing it over the time, but some changes they doing it immediately through one, let's say, generation or 10 or 20 years. Yes, would be interesting that how to say, speak more with some guy. Yes, yes. Plus, they do not telling us that a lot of how to say things what we using now also existed in the past. Maybe in not the same how to say shape, but yes. For example, just a second to remember. They use
the globe
go on,
lie. The globe lie reinforces their running out of oil lie. We're all trapped on a planet. Yeah, we're all trapped on a planet gonna run out of dinosaur goo. There's always more than one reason. They don't just do it because of one reason. There's multiple.
Yes. And what I realized watching Martin's channel, that from the late 19th century to the beginning of 20th century, they've been screwing city by city all around the world. Yeah, very
Yeah,
possible.
well, I'm sure they've known about it. We have electric animals, electric eels, catfish. When I was a kid, we had electric catfish in our spring. We catch them and put them in the spring, in the backyard. And you'd go over there and stick your hand in there and try to grab one. It was like you got stung. They would shock you. Sometimes it wasn't that much, but sometimes, man, it really sting you. Make you jump, about piss your pants. It was like getting hit with the wall socket, Bzzz.
me, good example are, let's say, those swords which are not how to say regular shape or in a line. They are how to describe you is what is the shape is letter S, you know, few S's. What you can do? How to fight with things like that? You cannot do anything to another guy with the sword like that. So those things probably use some kind also of electric energy to be able to fight with. Is let's say some kind of electrical weapon.
Yeah, like a stunner.
Yeah, yeah, but true. But if you use a lot higher voltage and amperage, you will for sure kill the other guy, not only shock him. Yeah.
Yeah, with a small capacitor, you could kill somebody if you charged it up. You need something to charge it up with. Some way, a battery or some way of getting that energy build up.
Did you have maybe someone who is able to remote view things in your show? Sorry? You. But you have show. Wolf do not have his own show. I said, did you have any guest who is capable to do remote viewing? Yeah, remote. Do you know what that means? That because
There's a guy on Poncho's, Gerard, I think his name is. There's a guy on Poncho P channel all the time claiming he does that. He met Satan, Jesus, in the Matrix. He calls God the Matrix. I don't believe none of it.
because I had let's say similar idea long before I will join let's say guys who are in Force the Curve. But because I wasn't sure, I always kept exploring. Even still, I do. Even I really know a lot. I would be able to speak, let's say, for days, not only for the hours. But I searched for all these informations I've been capable to find, because even before I hear the things from another guys, I knew some things because. It's hard to say when you get open to the certain things at the young age. You watching whole picture differently from the beginning, you know. And some let's say facts, what is obvious for me, I only searching for the proofs, you know. That been really hard before the internet, because reading a lot of books or finding informations. It's hard to say, probably a few years, but maybe even longer. At some point, let's say shortly, I even been a follower of Lord Jesus Christ. No, Jesus Christ, sorry, Lord Stephen Christ, for God's sake. Because, yeah, because he really makes great animation. Plus, there is some point in that kind of model that everything is reversed, you know, because when you see how they
Well, I've been looking out my north window for years, wondering why I can see the moon swinging around to the north. But I really couldn't say the Earth was flat, and probably until 2015. I started thinking it about, I don't know, probably a couple years before that, 2012. Man, I think I seen no, I think I seen um Matt Powerland for the first time when he was doing a comedy skit. I think that was around 2012. And I was like, man, he's right. But it took me a while to get out of the programming because I love space and sci-fi, but I always knew it was mostly fiction, you know. But Just didn't know how big it was. They were faking all of it, you know. So I did a lot of partying out by the fire all night long, you know, watching the stars and the planets and the sun and the moon.
Yes, but
Yeah, I don't know what they are.
yes, but you know what's also interesting? Even our languages are screwed a lot. Maybe English even much more because my language is similar to the Sanskrit, so that confirms that is really old language. And some things you can really learn from the words. You know, you said planet. What is planet? When you look at it, plain T. You know, right? Or why so many people still call planets wandering stars, right?
Or planet, ETTE could be like a, right, like a plane. They're describing a piece of the plane.
Or why everybody is saying horizon in almost any languages I know? Why they
You
do
know,
not
if you
call it
change the language,
horizon
you
or something
change
like
the,
that?
when you
Yes,
change the word, you change it. You change things. You can make things disappear just by changing the name you call it, the thing you call it.
yes. And also one interesting thing which can help us to understand how things works and how we think and exist is hypnosis, because you see how some guys who are good in that field are able to convince any other person in almost anything. You know, okay, for
Yeah,
the
I
short
call it,
period of
I
time,
call
but
it the
still,
power. I call it the power of suggestion, and
yes,
not
yes.
not everybody's susceptible to it. Susceptible.
Yeah, but it's also questionable how those hypnotists are capable, you know, because you probably also have ranks who is capable to hypnotize almost anyone, or who are capable to hypnotize only certain persons, you know. Plus,
Uh-huh.
for someone who, how to say, willingly do not
Yeah.
wish to get hypnotized, and another guy will tell you, hey, now relaxed, I wish to hypnotize you. You will say, hey, I do not wish, and you will, how to say, it's so hard, you know. Or if I will tell you, hey, I wish to hit you, you will defend, right? But if I just come near you and hit you with something, you will just fall. The same with hypnosis.
Well,
That
I might defend. I might defend an attack before you even hit me.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I'll take your weapon.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. I don't. You got to play into that. You got to play along. You got to be willing to go along with that. Awesome. I
Yes.
look forward to it.
Really, really, really cool. Bye.
Okay. Hugs. Bye, Karen.
Bye, everyone. Love you.